Hey everyone, it's Dan, and today we're going to be taking a few minutes to talk about humanity. So whether you've been on the Campus Experience team in the past and have used humanity in the past, or you're new to the team, I hope that this video serves as a great resource for you and is helpful to you now, but also as a resource in the future. So we are going to be talking through a few high-level topics about humanity, not getting too deep into the weeds, but we really just want to make sure you know how to use the system for those 4 or 5 main things that we use humanity for. So what I want to do is start by logging in and then taking a look at my profile and just make sure you all know how to edit your profile, make sure everything's up to date there. We're going to talk about how to clock in, clock out, set your availability, put in leave requests, and then finally I want to make sure you all have access to the resources that are available to you, because surely I'm not going to be able to answer all your questions about humanity today, but there are some great FAQ pages, YouTube videos, and even a chat feature on the website that I think will be really helpful for you. So I want to start by, like I said, logging into the system. So you can see here on my screen, the website is https://cussc.humanity.com/app/. Now, I hope you only have to put that in one time. You can see I have it bookmarked up here, and I would really recommend that you do that as well. So go ahead and put in that URL, bookmark it, and then you'll have easy access in the future. I'm gonna go ahead and start by logging in here. I'm just gonna put in my email, and then my password, and that will bring us to the humanity dashboard. I don't think I said this earlier. If you ever hear us talking about shift planning or humanity, basically it's the same thing. This software used to be called shift planning, and then they changed names to humanity. So we're gonna get rid of this. I don't know what this is. All right, this is what the dashboard looks like, and this is where you can just see things like who's working now, who's on vacation, how many shifts might be available for me to snag, things like that. What I want to start by doing is by just clicking on my profile picture here in the top right, and then clicking on profile. This is kind of step one. When you were hired onto the Campus Experience team, the first thing we really need everyone to get set up is their profile, because we need a place that just serves as HQ for all things Campus Experience. Of course, Cedarville has an HR department. I like to think of humanity as like the micro version of HR for Campus Experience. It's like our own HR department. So there are usually a few times in the year where I just really need to get a hold of someone. Maybe I don't have their number and can't get a hold of anyone that does have this certain person's number. So make sure, of course, you know, your name is in there, you got a profile picture in there, make sure your number's in there. Basically just fill out your profile as much as you can. The way you can make some changes is by hitting edit details here. And I mean, you've all filled out plenty of accounts, things like that. Don't worry about any questions like minimum weekly hours, maximum weekly hours. Brian and I will definitely take care of things like that. But up at the top, just make sure all of these blanks are filled in. Especially, we use your profile as our go-to spot for when we need information for things like jacket size, t-shirt size, so definitely make sure you do that as well. All right, the next thing we want to talk about is the actual shifts. So the second button over at the top is just shift planning, and this is where you can navigate to different teams and people to see when they're working or not. What I like to do is kind of use the staff button as a starting point for most things, and if I want to see when I'm working, I can just click on staff, navigate to my name, and then click on view schedule here in the top right. So I don't normally use shift planning to assign shifts, but for training purposes, I do have a shift here on July 8th from 8 to 4. And what I want to do is talk about how I can release that shift, because I can't work that day. So the main thing or key thing you need to make sure you're on is my schedule, not the schedule overview. So just go ahead and click on my schedule, and then that will allow you to click on this shift and bring up the shift details. Now, I can't work that day, so I'm just gonna click can't work. The main thing you all are going to be doing when you run into these situations where you can't work is release a shift. Something I want to make clear is that you are assigned to a shift, but you can't work that shift for whatever reason. You can't just drop it and cross your fingers and hope that someone can snag it. Talk to your fellow coworkers, say, hey, I can't work this daytime, can you take it? And then when you find someone that can take it, then go ahead and release it to that person. That's what you're going to be doing 99% of the time. Definitely there will be instances where you can't work a certain shift, someone else can take it, but it's going to be a trade kind of situation. In that case, definitely go ahead and trade a shift. But I think in most cases, people are assigned a shift, they can't work it, and then they release it to someone specifically that they've already coordinated with. So I'm just going to release that shift, and because no one is available to take it, it's going to give us some errors, but for training purposes, the reason I can't work is because I am on vacation and I can't spell. Or we'll just hit continue. It says, unfortunately, there's no coworkers available to take this shift. In most cases though, what you're going to see is a list of people who are available during that time, and you can release that shift to that individual. So it's very straightforward, and I'm sure that you all will be able to figure that out pretty easily. The next thing I want to take a second to talk through is setting availability. And if this is something you have not done yet, make sure you set your availability as early as possible and keep it as accurate as possible, because when your exec team members go ahead and put together the shifts, they need to know whether or not you can work it. They need to know when your classes are, when your other things that you're involved in are going on, so they don't assign you to a shift that you can't actually work. So the way you edit your availability is actually in your profile. So again, you can just click on your profile picture in the top right, click on the profile button, and then the availability button is at the top. So I've already kind of gone through and set some of my availability. If it is red, of course, that means I'm not available. If it's green, those are my available times. So I've gone ahead and just blocked off all of Sunday. On Monday, I have a starting availability time at 8 a.m. until 5. So the way you can adjust that is just by clicking and dragging the mouse and blocking those times off. It's also probably a good thing to break this down by 15 minutes if you can. That just kind of gives a little bit more information to the people who are actually putting these schedules together. So as you can see, that just switches the available view from every 60 minutes to 15 minutes. So bottom line is just make sure your availability is totally up to date. Also, what we're looking at here is the weekly availability, and it's pretty much your general availability. Again, like class times and other things that you're involved in should be in this weekly availability, but of course there's outlier kind of situations. In those instances, you can just check out this future availability feature here on the right. It says Humanity allows you to set your availability for specific dates in the future. Future availability settings override your weekly availability on that specific date. So what we're going to do here, I went ahead and set one earlier, but we're going to clear that out and just do it again. I want to set my availability for the 4th of July, which is in just a couple days. So I've gone ahead and said I have some custom availability for the 4th of July. I'm going to click this pencil here and say from 12 in the morning until midnight, I'm going to be busy celebrating our country's independence. So I've gone ahead and blocked off all of that and said I'm unavailable all day on the 4th of July. So again, make sure your general availability is up to date, and then make sure those outlier kind of situations are in there. We're just trying to communicate and give clarity to the people who are making these shifts. The next thing we're going to talk about is clocking hours. So while what we're walking through here for the most part is what's on the website on the desktop, I would definitely encourage all of you to get the Humanity app. Probably the most useful resource for you all on the Humanity app is the clock in and clock out feature, because basically there's 2 spots that you can track time as a student worker on Campus Experience. You're going to want to clock your time in Cedar Info, and that's how you actually get paid. But chances are, if you're starting or stopping a shift, you're not always going to have just a laptop in front of you that you can, put in your start time, put in your end time real neat and clean when that shift starts or stops. So that's why it's really helpful that we have this tool here where you can download that Humanity app, log in, and just with a click of a button on your phone, go ahead and clock in. You can take breaks using the app, and then clock out, and that way you have something you can look back at for when you actually have the chance to sit down and clock your time on Cedar Info. All right, leave requests are very similar to when you set your availability, except leave is more intended for those times that you're gonna be away for an extended amount of time or maybe on vacation. So the way that you do that is very simple. Of course, you're gonna start by just clicking on the leave button at the very top. Click on request leave at the top right. All you need to do is click on the date. We're gonna start our leave request here on the 4th of July, and we're gonna be gone through the weekend. So we're gonna go until the 8th. And we are celebrating our country's independence. Go ahead and submit request, and we're missing a value. Gotta put our name in there. And then the leave request is sent. So your mentality when it comes to these leave requests should be, yeah, definitely get it in as soon as you know you're gonna be gone for a chunk of time, but make sure that leave request is approved before you go ahead and make some solid plans. Basically what it is a leave request, and you're asking, hey, can I be gone during this time? And then that's gonna come to Brian and I, and we'll make sure that you're good to go and that there are people that can actually take these shifts, and then we'll go ahead and approve it. Finally, the last thing I want to make sure all of you know about is the resources that I mentioned. So I mentioned the YouTube videos, there is a chat feature on the website, and then there's a really thorough FAQ page. So of course, if you hop on YouTube and search Humanity, that's the name of their profile, and they have all kinds of videos similar to this one. But I want to just point out this chat button down here in the bottom right. If you click on this chat box, we have a handful of people that are ready to answer our questions. It's actually quite responsive. So especially you exec members that are maybe putting together some schedules, if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and chat our friends at Humanity. But what you can also do is go ahead and type in this search bar. You can see this morning I typed in trade shift so I could get well acquainted with that, and it brought up some articles. So you can just type in whatever topic you want to learn more about, click that search button, see all the results, and then here's everything that you might need to know about trading shifts. So that's just one example. I hope that this little video has been helpful for you. Of course, Brian and I are here for you if you have any questions. Thanks so much for watching.